Just got out of the ocean. Water in my ears. Okay, I didn't do a live last night because I was waiting for some Porky Pig guys to show up who were bringing me 10 pounds of pork. And they ended up getting here really late. I didn't want to be in the middle of a live anyway. And then I just did other stuff and went to sleep. So I'm doing one this morning because I did think of something to say, so I might as well say it. First, I have a few stories to tell. The other day, a young child, and this was a few children. I often spend my time around children. So one young child said, as they were talking about numbers, and one kid said, 30 is much more than 13. And another kid looked and said, 30's not more than 30. And the other kid said, no, I said 30's more than 13, not 30. And then the other kid said, no, you said 30's more than 30. You said 30's more than 30. And the other kid's like, no, I said 30 is more than 13. Why would I say the other thing? No, I heard you. All right, enough of that. Now, the other day, I put up a video of me putting this kayak blank together to make a mold. And I do occasionally look at comments, and I pretty much always regret it. Anyway, I'm sure there are some good comments in there, but I saw a lot of comments responding to what I did very kind of like, I don't want to say very negatively, but kind of like, Jaimie, you're not doing this right at all. It's not gonna work. You're just not doing it right. Like a lot of comments, comment after comment, armchair warriors saying, Jaimie, you clearly don't know what you're doing because all these other videos I've seen did it differently, and now you're just not doing it the same as them. And now I'm sure some of those comments were people who just, haven't seen what I've done before, so maybe they don't know. But a lot of them are from people who've been watching my channel for a while, and they know that I'm not doing what everyone else does. I never do what everyone else does. I mean, occasionally I do, but generally when I'm making something, I'm not following some set of instructions. I'm following my own set of instructions, and I'm doing something different. So that's point one that makes all those comments just ridiculous and make no sense. And the other thing is, I keep getting good results in a lot of stuff I do, right? So to sit there and presume I'm just doing something completely moronic, and just like, Jaimie, that doesn't make any sense at all, what you're doing. It doesn't make any sense at all. Why would you do that? Kind of weird. Okay, let's put that one aside. Now, a little while ago, I made a video talking about how, men and women are having all these problems getting along today. It's actually a huge problem. The more I think about it and the more I see what's going on, it just seems like it's a bigger and bigger problem because we're like, without families, no raising kids, and it's just all these problems. And I was talking about how this feminist thing that's going on is always trying to say that men are oppressing women. And I said oppress several times in a row. And at some point I was mumbling a little. And some guy responds with this huge long comment. And I didn't read it all, I have to admit. But I read the first line of it, and it was enough to make me not want to read the whole thing. And he's like, what, you think women think men are just trying to impress them? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? And then he goes on this whole big long thing about how that's stupid and makes no sense at all. And I'm just thinking, well, obviously I said oppress, not impress. But if you're speaking quickly, impress, oppress, it sounds pretty much the same. So you have to take it out of context and understand like which word would make sense as opposed to just presuming the stupidest thing, right? Okay. Here's another story. I was talking to this guy recently about moving off grid because, I do all this off-grid stuff. So he sends me a message and we get into conversation. He's saying, all this stuff about, yeah, I want to live off grid, I want to do all this stuff, and blah, blah. He's going on and on. And I'm like, wow. And then he comes around to what often happens to, yeah, but I can't do it. I'm like, why can't you do it? He's like, well, I couldn't take the loneliness and the isolation because I live in a city surrounded by 1 million people and I already have 0 friends. So if I went and moved somewhere out in the wilderness, it would be even worse. And I'm just thinking, wait a minute. How are you going to get fewer than 0 friends? And like, maybe if you lived in a place that made more sense to you, even if there were fewer people, maybe they would be more in tune with you. So maybe instead of having 1 million people that you have nothing in common with, maybe there's like 20 people. And 4 of them you'd actually get along with. But no, he just predetermined in his head that living off grid means no friends. And then I also have this conversation with people all the time where this one's usually a women thing. They say, oh, I'd really love to live off grid like you, but I couldn't handle not having a toilet. And I'm just like, okay, so have a toilet. Why wouldn't you have a toilet? It's just, but they've predetermined that if you live off grid, you don't have a toilet. Which is silly, because if you live off grid, you have whatever you want. You do whatever you want, pretty much. Anyway, so what do all these stories have in common? They all involve people jumping to conclusions based on their own bias, based on what they've predetermined, based on what they think without actually seeing what's there. So a kid says 30 is much more than 13. And another kid decides, I think you're stupid, so I'm going to decide that you said 30 is more than 30, which doesn't make any sense. And like all these other stories, it's people coming at it and just deciding, like predetermining that the person who is not making any sense is not making any sense because they're stupid. Not because maybe you heard them wrong or you didn't understand right. And it's it's just become this rampant thing, especially on the internet, because people do this on the internet constantly. Like just go look at YouTube comments or go on Reddit and read some Reddit comments, or just anywhere where there's a chat thing, or like any kind of forum online. It is just constantly people just deciding that other people are stupid and make no sense. Even when there's an obvious choice between 2 things, one that would make sense and another that would make no sense, people will purposely decide that the person is doing the thing that makes no sense, even though they're probably doing the thing that makes sense. And it's like this sickness in our society of like hatred and resentment, where people are just putting that on other people, deciding that other people are stupid and horrible, instead of actually trying to understand. And it's becoming a tradition. It's becoming totally a tradition. And I think one of the problems is that we lost all our traditions. Like over the last 100 years, there were 2 world wars that like just took fathers out of the homes for like 2 generations in a row. Families got totally screwed up. Parenting became not a thing. Traditions, all the positive traditions of the past got lost because no one was raising their kids anymore. And now people are just making up their own stupid traditions. And it's just amongst many other things, it's just running our civilization into the ground. And for a lot of people, this is not going to change. That's just how they're going to live their life forever, and that's it. But for all the adventure builders out there, and me included, because I know I've had the tendency, I've caught myself doing this before. For all the adventure builders, it's important to pay attention to when you're just observing any scenario, like dealing with a person or just observing anything going on. It's important to look at what's actually there and not just bring your own idea and smush that onto what's there and decide that you already know what's there. without actually observing it. Like, have actual awareness and put aside all those biases. It really makes for a better life, especially if you're trying to accomplish anything. If you're trying to actually accomplish stuff, it really helps to have good information so you know what you're doing, you know, as opposed to just a pile of biases and made up crap that's not going to withstand any kind of scrutiny. And, you know, a lot of this comes from just like years of people watching sitcoms and stuff where it's just funny to constantly crap on the other person, you know? And man, we gotta get off that stuff. Anyway, that's what I was gonna talk about, and that's what I've talked about now. I'm probably not gonna be here for that long because I got stuff to do today. Let's see what you guys are doing. There's probably not that many people here because it's an unusual time for me doing this. Oh, come on, tablet, stop being weird. Okay. Mr. Landfill, how are you always here? That's great. Classic Dude Mike says, can you shut off comments? I could shut off comments. I did for a while, actually. But I just leave them. I don't know. People can go comment their comments. And I don't know. I just don't pay attention to it. Oh, God. I just pushed something. That totally... What the hell did I just push? Oh, God. No. Stop. Okay, whatever. Right now, my comments are going sideways. The whole screen is sideways. And what the heck? Okay, luckily I can read sideways. So I'm just going to ignore it. I just finished building my new PC. What are you doing with your new PC? Are you, is it for gaming? Are you playing video games? And what? Okay, I want to figure out what I just did to this screen that totally turned it sideways. Okay, I have no idea. What's that button do? Oh my gosh, I don't want to know. Are you sure? No. Wow, I've done all kinds of weird stuff. Okay, YouTube keeps switching all the buttons, and I don't know how this thing works anymore. Anyway. Some say bias is a must. Without it, there is no true dedication. Well, you can see now you're just mixing terms. You can observe things without bias. That doesn't mean you have to do whatever you're told. Like, you can have bias in your own decisions and your own actions and all that. But when you're actually trying to get to the truth, you have to put bias aside, or else you can't see anything, right? You can't see what's actually there if you're looking through this predetermined filter where you've already decided what is true and what isn't. So I think you're mixing terms there. Let's see. One bitter reason to listen and be curious is to be able to argue against it later. Yeah. The kayak is coming along amazingly. Oh yeah. So on my kayak, for anyone who didn't know, I mean, a bunch of people responded that, well, it was a pile of weird comments. Let me just explain what I'm doing with my kayak. The wood kayak that I'm making is the blank for a mold. Does not matter how heavy the plywood is. It does not matter what happens inside it. All that matters is that the outside is the correct shape. And then I'm going to put I'm going to wax the crap out of it. Then I'm going to put fiberglass on that. One fiberglass thing on the bottom, one fiberglass thing on the top, and take those off. Do them separately, obviously. But then that will make the bottom of a kayak and the top of a kayak. So that's what's going on with the kayak for everyone who didn't understand how I was making it. I thought I said that in the first video, but I don't know. People might not have been paying attention. Worst case, your views are broadened. Your views are broadened and improved. Your viewers are broadened and improved. Maybe. Anyway, boomer. What's boomer? Toe polar shift just happened. What's a toe polar shift? Are there toes in the polar something? Do I need to know about this polar shift is going on? What is a toe polar shift? This has got to be a typo, right? Because I have toes and my toes don't seem to have changed. Sideways Jaimie. All right. How do I fix this sideways situation here? I have no idea what I pushed that has made the screen get weird. Oh God, no, that's not what I want to do. Oh my God. How do I get it back to normal? Oh, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm actually sideways to you guys too. Yeah, I have no. Okay, so YouTube keeps changing the buttons, and now I didn't even know it does this. And now, do I have to turn this way? Is that orientation is locked? Rotate device back. Oh, it's telling me to turn it back to put me sideways. What the? I have no idea why it's doing this. Okay. Well, maybe it's a good thing that I'm not. What the? YouTube, seriously, what is going on here? Is this something they're testing out that's broken, or have I just broken it? Yeah, I have no idea how to get this back. The buttons that were down here before, I guess I accidentally pushed. Okay, whatever. I think I'm gonna get off here in a minute and go do some other stuff anyway. Stop standing on the wall, no fair, defying gravity. Oh, it's for my 3D printer, your new computer. That's awesome. All right, for everyone who's watching this and doesn't know what's going on and why I'm on the side of the thing, why I'm sideways, I don't know either. Just pretend gravity is crooked. I'm on another planet. I'm on the side of the planet or something. Turn the phone. Yeah, it's not a phone, it's a tablet. I turned it and it's telling me to turn it back. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Am I am I in the correct orientation now though? Oh God. The 3-finger salute can fix all computer issues. I thought it was the 1-finger salute. Is there a... Okay, let's see. I don't know if this is better, but MSI board. Okay, I have no idea. That was just a bunch of... Oh, you're telling me what's in your computer. I don't know what any of that stuff is because I haven't put a computer together in a while. 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte drive. This doesn't seem that souped up, man. That's still pretty good. Where the polar shift, not toe. So what is this polar shift that's gone on? I don't know. Hey man, love the new Kayak. Keep missing your live feeds. Rolfie, hey, what's going on, man? It worked before you broke it. This did work before I broke it, but there's no Control-Alt-Delete on this tablet. Yeah, I don't. The funny thing is, it is actually telling me to turn this. Oh my God, I don't know what's going on here. All right, there's some buttons on the side here. Wait, what did that say? I don't know. Wait, settings. No, that just asked me if I want to share it. Does that do anything? Oh, whoa, ignore this. Oh my gosh, they fixed it. Oh, all right. So I don't know what's going on with this thing now, but I think it's back to normal now. Yeah. Have one of your kids fix it. Oh yeah. No, seriously, I think that was like, I don't think that was supposed to do that at all. Glad you got grounded finally. You know what I did? As I pushed a thing that kicked me out of here, and then when I came back, it was fixed. So I don't even know what was going on. Anyway, I'm gonna go have breakfast and do some wood stuff in a minute. Does anyone have any last minute questions or comments before I get out of here? Get one of your kids to fix it. My kids don't spend all their time on computers and tablets, so I don't think they could fix it any better than I could. Bon appetit. What is your age? My age, I'm 48 and like a half. Yeah, 48 and a half. Last I checked. Glad to see you, Jaimie. Get exercise. I like your name. I was just getting exercise. That's why I had water in my ears when I came on. I did a whole bunch of running and jumping around and stuff, with my weight vest on. And then I got soaked through with sweat, so I jumped in the ocean. Did a bit of swimming. Yeah. I liked you standing on the wall better. Classic dude, Mike. I know how to put myself back on the wall. I'm not even going to try to push any of these buttons because I don't know what they do. Camera settings, maybe. I literally have no idea what I pushed that put me sideways. Yeah, it's like I was trying to just get the comments to show up. Okay, push that. And then something popped up that I don't think was supposed to pop up. And like when you go to click on something, just as another thing pops up and you end up clicking on that thing that pops up, and it's like it was only there for a split second before you clicked on it, so you didn't even see what it was, and you're just like, what just happened? Yeah, that's what just happened there. That turned me on my side. Do you have any new builds you're planning? Well, I just put stairs in. I gotta make a video about that. And I think I'm gonna start building the second floorboards. I want to put the floorboards in. The floorboards are not totally dry, but I want to make the freaking floor. I think they're dry enough. They're still going to shrink a little, and I'll have to do an adjustment in a couple months. But yeah, and I pulled out my planer. I have this like huge, old, heavy cast iron planer that I got out, and it needs a bit of love because it's old, but it's like like a heavy duty cast iron. Like it's got all the important parts that are in good shape. So I'm getting that going so I can plane all the floorboards. And then other things to build. Well, I want to build these cabins for people to come and stay, like at a what do you call it? A campground. Yeah, I want to make a campground, but that has cabins, not just for tents. Tents too, but I want to have cabins. So I haven't. Oh, it's starting raining. I haven't started directly working on that yet, but I'm working on things that make that possible. It's funny when you live off grid. It's like not everything, but a lot of times if I want to do something, particularly a bigger project like build a campground, I need to build a loading dock so I can get some materials. And I need to build a path to the loading dock so I can build the loading dock and actually get there. And then, I don't know, there's a few other things, and I got to clear out some spot and make a path in and do a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, it's just like this whole series of things before it gets to the point where it's like, okay, now I can make a concrete floor and start building walls. Like once I get to the point where I'm actually constructing the building, it's already like 90% of the work is done. So yeah, I'm in the works on that. What else is going on here? Well, this kayak thing. I'm currently waiting for the spackle. What do you call it? The wood filler to totally dry. Because I put some pretty thick wood filler up in the front and the back. Everything else seems to be hard, but the front and the back, like I really filled in those corners, and I want that to dry before I do anything else. But that seems to be going very well. I don't want to rush it because it's going to be the blank for a mold. So I want to make sure I do a really, really good job in it because, I could theoretically make like 1,000 from this thing. So I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time and make sure I do a really good job on that. Let's see. Oh, when are people coming to visit you? The week of May 3rd. I think it was a Friday or something. I don't know. It's a weekday. So the weekend before the week of May 3rd, then the week of May 3rd, and then the weekend after that. If anyone wants to come for the Adventure Builder meeting, I'm going to have accommodations for people to stay. Nothing fancy, no 5 stars or anything. But if we're lucky, I'll have something set up at this campground. But if not, I have other spots. So people will have a spot a dry place to sleep. Okay, I can guarantee a dry place to sleep and a place to make food. And we'll probably like cook food on a big fire somewhere, like sausages on a stick, or something. I don't know. We'll have fun. And we'll get involved in some kind of fun projects. Let's see. I hope you're having an awesome day. I'm 90 days completely alcohol and nicotine free today. Life feels awesome. That is excellent, dude. Nice work. Yeah, stay off that stuff. I never got into that stuff. So I never had any of the problems with it. But yeah, I've known a lot of people who got into drinking and smoking and various other things. And yeah, it becomes like it just becomes like a focus of your life. You know, it takes so much time and energy. So that's super cool. You got off that stuff. That's great, man. Keep up the good work. Do you still use your back massage roller you made? Yes, I occasionally do. So I have this board. I don't know. It's like a board, you know, like a 1x12 or something, a few feet long. And I screwed a bunch of caster wheels. You know, caster wheels are just like the wheels. I screwed a bunch of wheels onto it, and then it's laid against a wall at about that angle, and I'll kind of lay on it with my back and just up and down. Ooh, man, it gets some knots out. I use it after I lift a lot of heavy stuff. Like if I go spend 4 hours carrying wood out of the jungle, I'll go on it for a minute and just, you know, loosen up some knots. Yeah, it's pretty useful actually. Will you in the future have 1080p or higher? Would be great for future generations. Will you in the future have 1080p or higher? Are you asking like will my videos have high resolution? I think I'm uploading my videos in pretty high resolution. I thought it was 1080p, but I don't know, I'll have to double check. Maybe I changed my camera settings or something, but they should be high res. I don't know. I don't even know if future generations would watch this anyway. We'll see. Not that many people in our current generation watch my videos. I mean, some people do. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Like, historically speaking, having an audience of several thousand people is pretty impressive. It's like freaking amazing, right? It's just, you know, today a person can have an audience of like 20 million people just because of the way the internet is. So it's always good to put things into perspective that way and be like, wait a minute, there are like 5,000 to 10,000 people who like routinely pay attention to what I'm saying. That's, you know, that's a lot of influence. Oh, I hear a mosquito right beside my head. I envy people not wrapped up in crypto right now. Real life wins every time. I just can't ignore the easy dough. Got any Bitcoin, Jaimie? I have a little bit. The camera angle was very Jaimie headroom. I could just turn sideways for a while. Is that better? He is very next generation Max Headroom. Max Headroom. Half the people here don't even know what that is now. Is all your boat motors brushed motors? I think you mean are they? Yeah, all my boat motors are brushed motors. I had a brushless motor. I think I've only had one, and it lasted 6 months, and then the electronics that ran the motor stopped working, so the whole thing stopped working. And I was like, oh, screw this. Like, it's much easier to replace brushes than it is to replace the electronics that run a brushless motor, you know? So I've just been going with brush motors. Not that I have anything huge against brushless motors. It's just the electronic complications. Like, brush motor is a mechanical solution, brushless motor is an electronic solution, and just electronic solutions, at least the way we're doing electronics today, they're very delicate. They break easily. Often you can't repair them because it's just all these little microcontrollers, like integrated circuit things that, I mean, unless you have the exact things to put in there, it's not like you can just come up with something. But if I have a brush motor and the brushes wear out, I can go into my thing of brushes and find one that's either the right size or a little bigger, and carve it down. I can make it work again. Hasta luego, señor. Señor Constructor Adventero. I actually understood that. Basically, see you later, Señor Construction Adventurer. What CAD CAM do you use to make 3D prints? Let's see. I use to do 3D print. Wait. Okay, I have SolidWorks, like a really old version of SolidWorks, like SolidWorks 2009, I think. And to get it to work, I had to set the date on that computer to be 2011, because when it was 2024, the SolidWorks is like, this is expired, you can't use it anymore. And I'm like, F you, man, come on. So that computer never goes online, so it doesn't get its date corrected or anything. So it is living in 2011 with SolidWorks 2009. And I also use AutoCAD 2005. And both of them work fine. You know, it depends what I'm doing. I'll use one for certain things and the other for other things. And then for slicing, slicing for the 3D printer, I use Prusa Slicer. And that was because my 3D printer came with Cura, and it was an old version of Cura, and I wanted some of the features of the newer Cura. So I went to upgrade, but it's like, no, your computer's too old, your operating system is not compatible. And I was like, oh, come on, give me a break. So newer Cura would not work, but Prusa Slicer totally works fine. Plus, I saw a whole bunch of people recommending it online. And yeah, I've been totally happy with it. Works, does all the stuff I needed to do. So SolidWorks, AutoCAD, and Prusa Slicer. Although a bunch of people have been recommending Fusion 360. So maybe I'll look into that at some point. I hear there's a free version that you can use under certain circumstances. I don't know. But I don't know, right now my old crappy programs are doing fine. How is the Sky Beer, AKA your rainwater collection system, doing? Well, the Sky Beer is this right here. It's got a thing up here that empties in here, and at the bottom of this is a filter, and then that goes into this keg, and then it has like a thing down there. That barely keeps up with what we drink when it gets hot. When it's not hot, it keeps up no problem. But it's been hot, and I've been doing a lot of work, and I'm drinking like gallons of water every day, and it's not really keeping up. So I started drinking. I mean, some water I just drink straight from the rain thing, unfiltered, and it's always been fine. And the rain collection comes off about a third of my roof, which is a pretty huge area, goes down a pipe and then goes into a concrete water tank over there. And then there's a little spigot outside, and that's where all my water is. Actually, I don't have water plumbed to inside. Someone's going to say, why don't you do that? Because I just don't feel like it. I like going outside to get the water for a few reasons. One, I like going outside because I live in this beautiful environment. I don't need to, if I lived in some place where the weather wasn't so nice, I would want the pipes coming inside so I can get the water inside. I don't have to go outside to get it. But it's beautiful outside. I like having a reason to go out, get some water, and come back in. So, like, for instance, with this thing, I'll take a jug, go out, fill it up, come back in, get some nice fresh air. I mean, it's fresh air in here anyway. And then I also have like a nozzle that I attach to it for a shower, and it's nice outside, so I just have showers outside. And I live on an island by myself, right? Like no one's around. Like privacy is not an issue. I just like it. Let's see. Where'd we go? Is the Ray electric outboard still running? I want one. It is still running, yeah. I got that thing. This is the outboard motor that's on the Tiger Shark slicer right now. And when I got it, it had already been very used, and it sat in some guy's shed for years. And then a guy I know bought it, and he never used it, so it sat like in his shed for several years, and it had like dirt all over it. It was like half buried in mud when I got it. But I cleaned it up. ripped out all the electronic stuff that was long dead. All I was interested in was the motor and, the shaft and the gear and the propeller. Just the mechanical parts, right? The motor was non-functioning at the time. However, it was just because something was rubbing inside the motor and just preventing it from turning. So when I popped off the top, I just had to make sure it stayed up like 0.5 millimeter. So I put a little piece of wire in there before I put the top back on, and then it's been working perfectly ever since then. I did have to change the brushes one time, but other than that, everything's working great with it. Yeah, works great. I also changed the rubber seal at the bottom because it was leaking oil, out behind the propeller. So I got replacement rubber seals for that. And those kind of outboards are not my favorite thing because they rely on rubber seals to keep oil in, they lubricate the gears and everything. I kind of like the long tail motors more because there's less stuff to go wrong. But I got this thing almost for free, and it's working. So until it stops working, I'm going to keep using it. On shape is great I think you mean A great. Someone keeps sending me messages. Stop sending me messages right now. Onshape is great free tool for designing 3D parts. Onshape, is it? What does Onshape do? I feel like someone mentioned this to me before, and there was some reason I didn't like it. What is Onshape? Anyway, nice fix. Thanks, Blackwater Boys, Rolfie. That's Rolfie, right? Please say hello to Deshana for me. You can say hello to her. All right, I think I'm at the end of comments here. Yeah, looks like I'm at the end of comments. So I hope everyone has an excellent morning or afternoon or day or whatever you got, wherever you are. And I'm going to go eat some breakfast and I'm going to work on some stuff. Be safe, everyone, Mr. Landfill says. You be safe too, Mr. Landfill. And don't forget to like yourself and thumbs up yourself, whatever that means. All right, I'm getting out of here. Oh, good day, Mike. Catch you later, man. All right. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes.